I have been watching cricket for the last 30 years, and if my memory is correct, the first ODI series I watched was the Texaco ODI series between India and England in 1990 in England. Over the past 3 decades or so, I have been following cricket like a hawk. And there are a lot of matches that stays with you, more of a lot of individual performances that stay with you. And in most of our cases, those performances will be directly proportional to the team winning, right? So we all like the team to be winning, whatever team you support. But there will be some performances which might be in your team or other team that stays with your heart. More or less because the player had given 100%, but they couldn't really complete that final step due to their mistake or their partner's mistake. If you ask any cricketer, the most disappointing moment is when they fail to chase down a target despite them being in good form. So today we are going to recognize such 5 performances which the individual gave all of their ability but couldn't really complete the final step due to multiple reasons. I'll tell you a spoiler upfront. I have not deliberately included the first Sachin's twin hundreds against Australia in 1998 Sharjah tournament. Just because of the fact that India, though India lost the match, actually we qualified for the final, right? So I was not that disappointed at the day. So I have tried to include performances which really shattered my mind in the last few years. So all these performances I have picked is more or less recent. I think the oldest performance in this race is 2009. So it's more or less recent. Without further ado, let's now move on to the top 5 performances on losing cause while chasing. Hello, Namaskaram and welcome to my short take. Let's start the narration. Let's move on to the first individual performances. It will be David Warner's 173 he made against South Africa in Cape Town. So when the Aussies reached South African soil for an ODI tour way back in September 2016, little did they know that they would be staring a 5-0 whitewash before the final ODI at Cape Town. Captain Smith lost the toss and Du Plessis met Emma's 327 runs thanks to Riley Rasso's brilliant turn and Duminy's 73. Opening the batting, Warner lost his partner Finch and skipper Smith early on in the innings. What followed was a sophisticated innings of 173, a very uncharacteristic Warner innings with no sixes but 24 boundaries. He was particularly severe on Kagiso Rabada as the young rookie went for 84 runs in his 9 overs. The very fact that the next best Australian individual score was 35 speaks of the quality of this innings. Eventually, David Warner was run out in the 48th over and Australia slipped into a 31 runs defeat and subsequently was whitewashed in the series. Sachin Tendulkar's 175 versus Australia in Hyderabad. Tendulkar had made scores of 4, 14, 32 and 40 when he arrived at Hyderabad for the 5th match of the ODI series versus Australia in 2009. The series was tied 2-2 with 3 to play. Australia amassed 350 for 4 thanks to Sean Marsh's 112 and some brilliant accomplices from Watson, Ponting, White and Hussey. Opening with Sachin, Sehwag gave a blazing start to the Indian chase. After his dismissal, there was sort of a mini collapse where Gambhir, Dhoni and Yuvraj failed. Sachin, along with Raina, steadied the Indian ship, and once the Australian bowlers were showing signs of tiredness, he began finding the gaps consistently. The onslaught consisted of 19 fours and 6 maximums. The occasion even came down to getting just 19 runs from 18 balls with 4 wickets in hand. The celebrations had started in the stands and the Indian dressing room, where Sachin played an unnecessary scoop shot of Clint Mackay only to find Horrocks at short fine leg. The scenes then unfolded reminded of Indian team back in the 90s as the match was lost by 4 runs. It was certainly a match which disappointed big time. Next up is Marcus Stoinis' 146 not out he made against New Zealand in 2017. I remember watching this match and sort of shocked seeing Australia on the mat at 67 for 6 chasing a mammoth 287 to win. The match, which took place at the iconic Eden Park in Auckland, saw what I consider one of the best ODI knocks of all time. Playing only his second ODI, out came Marcus Stoinis with Australia 5 down and with help of good contributions from Faulkner and Cummins took Australia to the brink of one of the best wins of all time. Stoinis took calculated risk and took advantages of the dimensions of Eden Park. hitting most of his runs in his V and the square leg area. When Stark got dismissed in the last ball of the 43rd over, Australia still needed 61 runs to win. What followed was a carnage, and Australia now needed just 7 runs from 18 balls when Kane Williamson produced a direct hit to dismiss Hazelwood and give New Zealand a memorable win. Funny thing is that Hazelwood was dismissed on a diamond duck, which means he hadn't faced a single ball in their 454 runs partnership. Such was the impact of Stoinis' innings. Even ESPN Cricket 4 has mentioned this innings as one of the most impactful ODI innings of all time. Next up is Tilakaratne Dilshan's 160 he made with India in Rajkot. I have always felt Dilshan was one of the best limited overs batsmen Sri Lanka has ever produced. He could bat, bowl, field brilliantly, and even keep when the team needed him to do so. One of his best innings came against India in 2009 at a proper tarmac pitch at Rajkot. With the help of a Sehwag century and 50s from Sachin and MS, India raked up 414 runs. In reply, Sri Lanka got to a terrific start with Dilshan and Taranga in complete cruise mode. The pair added 188 for the opening wicket, and Indians didn't get respite even after Taranga got dismissed, as Sangakkara and Dilshan marauded the Indian bowlers all around the park, piling up on runs. When he was finally cleaned up by Budgie in the 40th over, Dilshan had already scored 160 runs. Unfortunately though, the rest of the batting order failed to chase down the total, as Sri Lanka fell short just by 3 runs. Interesting trivia is that Dilshan is the only cricketer till date to have ended up on the losing side twice despite scoring 150 plus runs. Next up is James Faulkner's 116 he made versus India in Bengaluru. The 2013 Bengaluru ODI is always known for Rohit Sharma's first double 100 in ODI cricket. The series had seen batting records being smashed and shattered like glasses already. Thanks to Rohit's 209 and useful contributions from Dhawan and MS, India set up a humongous 384 runs target for Australia. During the chase at 138 for 6, Australia was looking down the barrel after the dismissal of Maxwell. And when Counter Nile got caught in the deep by Kohli of Jadeja, even the hardcore Australians must have given up hope. But not Faulkner. The Southpaw had already scripted an incredible win for his team at Mohali during the third ODI. And as long as he was there, the threat was imminent. By making Clint Mackay a mere spectator from the other end, Faulkner put on a show of highest class. That night, Bengaluru skies were lit up with Faulkner's maximum. Australia still lost by 57 runs after Faulkner got dismissed on 116 and was the final man to be dismissed.
I'm sure there'll be many more such individual performances that didn't help their team get to the final step. This complete list has been prepared based on my experience. Maybe I missed some few good innings. If I have, please do comment in the comment box if I miss any innings that you feel that it's worthy to be in this list. So until next time with a cricketing video, it's goodbye from my short take. Thanks for watching.